Hello, everybody. I'm going to show you what I like to call the Peasants Revolt of 3.2. So basically, I'm going to show you something that I accidentally did um, while playing on the 3.2 level, um, and you'll soon see. I I'm doing it on hard, and it doesn't really matter which major to choose because I'm not going to actually be building any majors. Thus, the President's Revolt. So, the way I started out with my colony is pretty standard for all the times I play this. Now, one thing you'll notice is that I do pull my extra workers into the nursery group to help out with doing a little bit of housekeeping around the nest. So I used to always put the leaf store above the entrance, but a few days ago I tried putting it down below. This is where I would normally put my majors, and I like it better that way. And then before I send them out to help the medias gather leaves, of course I'm going to build up my refuse pile here. And I don't always put it in the same place. I just try something new every time. Um, but it's generally about this size, about a 19 size. Sometimes I make it bigger, but really 19 is all you need. It just needs a little bit more maintenance from time to time. So there you go. You got your 19 waste tiles. After they finish building it, then out they go. So I leave the rest of the nest workers to start on the worker group, and a lot of people do that, and it's not really a surprise why. You got to kind of keep your eye on what they're doing out there while you're working on your nest. I find that a little bit stressful doing the micro, but after you get used to it for a while, then it becomes easier. You kind of have a timer in your head where you just know when you need to look at it and change what they're doing. And you can also see on the mini map if there's any green that they're still plucking away at. If it's not, then you just take a look over there. Now, while I'm waiting for some food to come in, I'm also kind of clearing up the nest of unnecessary walls just so traffic can move a little easier. And starting to see that they're about ready to move on to the next tier. Some people split them up with the medias going one way and the small ones, the workers going the other way. That's just too much micro for me. I'd just rather have them all working together, finish one area and move to the next. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually going to build up my workers all the way up to a 19 size group to start out with, because they're cheap, and the minimums that they produce will get things moving around faster in the nest, which is what most people do. It's nothing surprising thus far. And then after I get those built, I then move over to the media's little cell. I start opening it up a bit, and for now at least, I'm not going to dig into those enemies, but I will. I'm not afraid to get in there as soon as I have enough numbers. It doesn't really take much time to get them cleared out, and I like a nice, neat nest. And I actually like the way that 3.2 starts out with a nest. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on things and waiting for and here I realize that, pretty soon the food's going to be coming in pretty quick, so went ahead and upgraded some of my leaf storage, and just waiting for some food to come in so I can get my medias going. And I'm just kind of looking at the clock, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, click. Yeah, I'm the type of player, I usually just spend food as quickly as I get it. because food that you're not using is food that's, going to waste. Either, um, there are times when I kind of save up a little bit of food, but I never really go crazy with it because I kind of have faith in my own abilities for um, waging combat with the native wildlife and what have you. I'd rather just have a stronger army, to be totally honest. So I'm kind of building up my medias. I seem a little bit pinned in here, but that's not going to last for too long. But what I am going to do in a moment might surprise some of you. And just kind of keeping an eye on things. And you see the armies on the march. They're coming across the screen. They're way over there, and I'm in no condition to fight them yet anyway, and they're way too far away to fight them even if I wanted to. So I just carry on with my business, and we'll face them when the time comes, at the last minute, in my true procrastinator form. So up here is where I'm going to, that's where I usually put my food stores. And this time I'm going to put some extra workers for the nest, the Queen's group, up there. I don't like putting them around the Queen if I don't have to. I kind of hate that because you don't really get much of a chance to upgrade them. And I'm a guy who likes to upgrade my workers. They just get around faster. They just do things so much more efficiently. And both the workers in the nest and the workers out there gathering, it's just all good 100%. But first I'm going to start upgrading my workers that are gathering. And it may seem foolish to many of you, but the fruits of that will soon become pretty apparent as I get it more and more upgraded. And I start placing in a few of my nest workers because it's slowing down a bit. They got a lot of work to do. These guys are about finished with that level. Move on up to the next one. You kind of gotta be on top of that. You gotta be. You just can't let them sitting around. So then, what am I doing? I'm just waiting for more upgrades. And those little workers, a lot of people say, and it's true that, when they're tier 1, they're so slow and so squishy. But when you get them upgraded, they can move. They can move faster than any other ants, except for when they're carrying the leaves. So they'll start to see that even when they're carrying leaves, they'll move faster. And there'll be a lot of them, so that's just good for economy. I'm just doing it all methodically. These speed tiles are going to be so I can upgrade the ones sitting on the outside, but you'll soon see it has more benefits than just that. It'll allow the minimum workers to scoot along much quicker from the leaf store to the nest and to the waste pit. All right, just about finished with the top tier. Cleaning out all the leaves. I'll get the ones in the center last. and I want my nest workers upgraded. So see, when you upgrade the nest workers, they not only move faster, but they do the job quicker. If they're doing upgrades or if they're digging or whatever, they'll do it a lot quicker with a level 2 or 3 worker than they will with just a level 1. I probably didn't need to upgrade them so early on, but hey ho, what can you do? I guess I was just because I was waiting for the upgrades to become available in the gather group here. And this should finish off that group of workers for a while at least. I'll come back to them later. But for now, they'll be all tier 3, 19 level tier 3 ants. And now it's time to go off to that patchy, leafy area off to the side. I see here we have a little bit more room available to throw in a few medias. I don't want to build too close to the waste store because it makes them harder to upgrade. You can still do it. I've done it several times, as a matter of fact, just as a personal challenge to myself. But it's not necessary if you can avoid it, and here I'm choosing to avoid it. Just waiting, and just kind of keeping an eye on the screen, seeing my little line of green cutting through that patch of leaves. Just watching their progress. I decided to put a couple more speed tiles because if I put waste tiles in there, then they'll be too close to my medias. I don't want them to be hard to upgrade. So I throw in some extra food upgrades, and they're just plugging right along. I see that my waste is starting to stack up. I don't really look at the waste, the red counter, but I just look at it in my green and red bar. I really care almost mostly about the waste that isn't processed yet. If it's in the waste pit, I don't care about it. But if it's making my nest dirty, well then we got to do some upgrades. And that's why it's also nice to have some extra nest workers earlier on so they can get that stuff done. Just quickly get in, get out. Still got a little bit left to do before I move on to that little island. And I'm upgrading my medias. Now the first time I did this was not the intention. I was just trying to build up a sufficient amount of workers and a sufficient amount of medias, and I just wanted to try to get them all leveled up before building majors. But then I found that the army ants had already arrived on my side of the screen before I had any majors built. And to my great surprise, the medias and the workers were more than up to the task, even on hard difficulty. They're up to the task to push back those army ants. And so I just decided to try playing it with no majors at all. see if I could win the game. And the first time I did it, I thought, well, it's just a fluke, right? So I tried it once more. It worked, and then I decided to record it. And it worked again, even better. I kind of got lucky in a few situations, and I'll show you where. But right now, I'm just steadily building up the strength of the ants I've got. Kind of doing a tall build here. And see how fast they're just shredding up that plant. Just shredding it up like it's nothing. Because when you upgrade the media ants, they move faster too, and they work faster too. I didn't know that. And when you get a tier 3 media, it's pretty much like a major, except it doesn't have any like taunt or stun abilities. And when you have enough of them, you kind of don't need that ability, as I found out, and I'm about to show you. And we're not really afraid of the bugs that are trying to jump in our ant trail, because we're so fast. We can get there so fast and counterattack and do that nice little swarm. So here again, I'm seeing that my waist is starting to tick up there, so gotta send it back in there again. They get poisoned. Yeah, well, that's another reason why it's nice to have your nest workers upgraded so they don't die as easily from going into the cesspit. You see them just chugging along there. They seem like they're really fast to me. I don't know. Do they seem like they're much faster to you? They seem like they're a lot faster than they ordinarily would be if they weren't leveled up. We're just playing level 1 medias and level 1 workers. Yeah, they're just working their way through it like it's nothing. So here I think that the night's almost over. And I'm not really saving up my food at all because I know I have so much more coming in. So I'm just doing upgrades where I can, because an ant that can fight is better than a bunch of food in your leaf store and ants that can't fight. There's a balance to it. I don't know what else to say about that. You do have to have some food in your leaf store, and I've found that if you have a formidable army, a reasonably formidable army, you can get by with just having 400 food before going into combat, and you'll be just fine. If not, there's something really wrong with the way that you built your army. Either you were too slow or you kind of went in too early. But yeah, I want to finish off everything inside this little island up here before I go down and face the army ants. And you can see their red bars ticking up. And I've got my eye on it, but I'm not going to leave this island without getting all the food, because if I do, then it's gone. I'll have to fight my way up there just to get back in and grab that food. So I'd rather just take it all now and then face the army ants wherever they are. If they come into my zone, well then I can handle that. And the little bugs that want to jump in my way, they're a nuisance, but they aren't really they aren't really a problem for me. I'm just trying to get my food out of there and then get to the staging area before it's too late. And it's coming close. It's really coming close there. I'm just like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Grab that little last bit of food, and don't forget about those little 4 pieces over there too. Yeah, workers aren't afraid of you, Mr. Jumping Spider. We're level 3 workers. We can handle ourselves. We got lots of friends around as well. Alright. And they're just about to cross that red bar, and I'm trying to get them corralled over here at the staging area. Everybody get in formation and go. And just before it ticks over to my side of the bar, I start laying into them. And these are medias and workers shredding up army ant majors. Yeah, they're level 1, but you wouldn't have thought so, huh? And you might ask, well, why don't you just throw in your medias only? Well, because there's not enough of them. The strength in this strategy is your numbers. You just have to be able to overwhelm them. Yeah, the workers aren't getting a lot of kills, but they're there for emotional support. The enemy doesn't really know who to attack or what to do when there's so many ants around, so it'll let my medias. And here's a praying mantis trying to cause me trouble, but I'm not really too worried about him. And we keep plugging along just as we would do if we had majors with us. And looking at that adult praying mantis in that little island up there. Hoping he's gone by tonight, but we'll see. I'm not really too afraid of adult praying mantises either, as long as I've got enough numbers. Yeah, these army ant majors don't really know what to do with level 3 medias and workers. And those ones over there on guard duty got distracted by that cricket, and we just kind of jumped in behind them and pounced. Always. I don't know, the level seems to have changed quite a bit since the earlier days, because I don't remember there being so often these patrols. We'd have to run into them and have to fight them. I think the devs put that in there to kind of help people out getting that bar down, especially in the more difficult levels. Sometimes it's just really irritating how often you have to go back and see. That time they actually succeeded in calling in the cavalry, and here comes my cavalry to meet them and just get that bar down below its but it's now nighttime and there's not really much more killing of army ants left to be doing. I'll kill a few more, and then it's time to go back to food gathering. And so they're gone, and I decided to bring them inside rather than send them to the next leaf spot, because I want to clear out some of these pests in my nest. I'm going to do a little housekeeping. Need the army to help me out with that. It's just a couple of little whip spiders. Have them killed off in no time at all. After you got yourself a decent sized army, I've already got them moved over to the next one. And yeah, I think I'm going to build some more workers as well. Now, the past times I played, I started adding to my workers first rather than to my medias. But this time, I think I was just worried that I might run into something a little bit more hefty here during the nighttime, so I decided to add on to my medias first before adding to my workers. And of course, I want to get the edges nice and rounded off. And same for the workers. So now we're gathering these leaves down in the bottom, the uncontested ones. And my ant war doctrine is, you want to get all the close sources of food before you go for the more distant sources of food. Now I can see on 3.1, the harvest, the logic in going in and trying to take the other ants' leaf source, but we're the only leaf gathering ants in town in this level, so you can just, where your supply lines aren't stretched, you just grab the closer ones first, and the uncontested ones preferably first, and then you move out to longer distances. And here, I don't know that made a lot of sense, but it did in my head at that time to upgrade the nest workers. But okay, it's either do it now or later. So now I'm slowly working at filling out my medias in the new expanded chamber. And I'm just tearing up all the leaves that are kind of sitting in between. Don't want to hop on that island yet because it's full of enemies. I will, but I'd rather have stronger numbers before I hop up there. And yeah, I never turn them on gather only. Not during the whole game. I just fight whatever gets in your way and keep going because we got the numbers to do that. It's like a chainsaw, just cut through anything that gets in front of it. That's how I like to look at my ant line. Just very thick, very strong. Even though it's medias and workers, they can overwhelm an enemy very quick, no matter what it is. I was kind of torn about should I just upgrade the ones I built as much as I can first before filling out the whole chamber. But I just decided numbers is probably better in the first instance, even if they are only tier 1. The nice thing about playing with these low-level workers is the hatching cost is very cheap. You can replace them very easily. Whereas if you're playing with the majors, you're going to want to get them upgraded pretty quick because they cost 15 to rehatch every time. So if you're just building level 1 majors and they're getting killed quickly, well then it's kind of shooting yourself in the foot as far as I'm concerned. So majors are a major investment. I'm just trying to get every last scrap of leaf, and we're already kind of tangled at the entrance to the island where I'm getting ready to go to, which is just fine by me. There's a lot of bugs up there. You think that's going to stop me? Do a quick upgrades. Do a few quick upgrades. Sorry, words. They're hard. Okay, we got a fully grown bush cricket, 2 of them. We're just charging in there like Leroy Jenkins. Let the kickage of asses commence. Yeah. Didn't even slow us down, really. I mean, it did slow us down, but we didn't have to back up and regroup or anything like that. We just kept them streaming in because they're just that fast and there's that many. And so now we're gathering that food because that's food and me wants it. So we're getting it. It's not a bad amount of food at all. And this is the last food I'm going to get. Hello, Mr. Giant Whip Spider. We'll come see you in a minute. So yeah, I mean, that's not a bad amount of food to have, and it's really close by, so we're getting it. I've seen other people, they just skip this one. It's only one big plant. Well, okay, that's one big plant, and it's close. So I go ahead and take it. It's upgrading here and there. Plenty of food coming in. The spiny devil crickets aren't really such of a problem, even the big ones, when you're only playing with small ants, because the rehatching costs are so low. You just always got a flood of them coming in. Whereas with the majors, unless they're level 3, they're probably not going to survive that bleed damage that they do when they spin around. You see green spurting out of them like they're green blood. Yeah. It's painful to watch. And here at the last moment, a couple of praying mantises decide they want to play. But it's too late. We're already packing up and getting ready to get out of here. Mr. Stink Bug. Sorry. Don't bother us. We're not in the mood for it. Okay. Staging area. Hello, Mr. Cricket. You give us something to do while we're waiting for our friends to arrive. Okay, we got everybody here. Let's get after those army ants. Shields shall be splintered, asses shall be kicked this day. So now we have even more ants to fight them when they're not so far up on the red bar. As a matter of fact, I've already got them kicked back to their beginning point. And I have so much food, I got cocky and went ahead and did some upgrades while in the middle of combat. We're making our way over to their last line of defense. And we're pretty much already grouped up together, so in I go. Peasants revolt, little workers, shred with your rakes and your hoes and your garden sickles, all that. It's hilarious, but it works. And with the little patrols they have. Their bar is running down. And I'm starting to see I might have them before the sun goes down. Who would have thought? These little peasant workers would create so much problems for these army ants on the hard difficulty. I'm just pressing on as though they were majors and medias. I'm fighting with medias and workers. And that's it. I won. And that kind of left me feeling empty inside. I'm just like, oh, there's so much more ass kicking I wanted to do. So that's what I did. So I wanted to show you guys something. Of course, we're going to take the royal jelly and we're going to play on. Okay, so we've got the army ants cleared out. Send everybody back, and yeah, you can pick up some food along the way. Why not? Let's get you all to a rally point right outside my nest. I have a job for you guys. We're not finished here yet. So we still got some daylight. Look at those leaves. It kind of looks like a fleet of ships, fleet of cargo ships, just bringing in the gold from the New World. So here we go. We're staging up right outside of guess who. And in we go. Knock, knock. Can you come out to play? Can Mr. Big Whoop Rider come out to play? I mean, that takes balls. But that's exactly what I did. And down he goes. And now let's feast on all these leaves. It isn't even nighttime yet. So just some extra ass kickery for fun. There's so much leaves still left I could gather right now. I kind of just want to finish upgrading these groups here. Now, I don't think I could take this on with the insane difficulty. I think there's just going to be too many bugs and stuff getting in my way, eating up all my ants. I think those fully grown praying mantises, they're grouped together, they could be a problem. Just one by itself, I think I could take it, and I've done it too with these medias and workers. Two, I might break a sweat. If there's more than that, I've seen like sometimes 3 or 4 of them just kind of hanging out together on this level, and that's going to be too much for workers and medias to handle, even at level 3. They'll just be chewing us up. There I am, though, just finishing up the medias, getting leveled up. You've earned it. You've done a good job, ants. Very, very good job. Just about nighttime. I've had all this time of just peace and relaxation, just gathering up all the leaves I want. Because I finished off the army ants well ahead of time and just went ahead and kicked the giant whip spider's ass. Like, hello, wake up, boom. We want your leaves. So not only do we get the leaves down by him, we get these leaves up here. Now there always comes a smaller whip spider in this general vicinity shortly after you fight the big one. And if you don't know he's coming, then he can really mess you up. And I'm kind of looking at that cricket like, do I even bother sending? And then I see the stink bug. I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of this nonsense. You can't just ignore that. And food still keeps pouring in, so I still keep upgrading. Down goes cricket. Down goes the stink bug. Down goes his little brother. And his daddy long legs. Ay. And it seems I forgot to upgrade that one in the bottom right corner, which that kind of annoys me watching it again, but oh well. Seems that's a big time point of interest for a lot of the insects up here on the map is that entrance to that ramp. They all just want to converge there. I think they want to get up that ramp is what it is. And I'm just like, oh, sorry. It's occupied. And here's the big the medium whip spider. Really, I don't notice much of a difference in their strength. If you can beat the medium whip spider, you can beat the big whip spider. Their health doesn't seem to have any appreciable difference. And that guy's just like, oh, did I miss something? What happened? It's just still gathering leaves. The fight's already over. So yeah, the peasants, real force to be reckoned with. Certainly surprised me when I first saw it. You get them upgraded. Do not underestimate a level 3 worker or a level 3 media. I don't know why I'm just standing there. So I was just curious what's behind there. It's another little whip spider. See, it doesn't take but a couple of seconds to get rid of it and you can get back out to harvesting again. So, see, some people take great pains to avoid discovering anything in their nest if they're playing as leaf cutters because they don't yield any usable food. So they're like, oh no, it's just a waste of my time going after it. It didn't take any time at all. And I'd much rather have a neat, highly functional nest. Of course, I say that after the game's already over. This is just the afterplay. I think at some point I'd like to just open up the entire nest on this level and see what all is hidden I don't know if anybody's done that. Let's see. How bad does it get as you continue digging into your nest? I don't imagine it's anything I need to worry about with an army like this by now. My beautiful peasant army. What was that guy's name? Wat Tyler? Yeah, Wat Tyler. He led the Peasants' Revolt in England. So I'm just pretty much taking everything I want at will at this point. I can now reach to the far edges of the map. I'm pretty confident in the strength of my line. I have so many ants and so many quality ants that there's not really anything that can jump in my line and really cause me any worry. These little patrols still keep showing up. Even though the army ants have been eradicated from the area, they still keep showing up. It's okay, it's easier than fighting the night creatures. I love watching this fungus kind of bloom. If you really let your nest get full, you'll see they bloom into this really cool fungusy looking structure. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm just building up a huge nest group. It's not necessary. I'm just doing it because of OCD reasons. Well, I can tell you, I didn't want to build more medias, I think is the thing. I didn't think I had enough to build more medias and get them leveled up. But the food just keeps rolling in. So that's what I end up doing. So I just add a little to that edge there. Maybe 4 more medias. 80 times 4 is 320. And then upgrade it 2 more times. That's a total of 960 plus hatching cost. 20. So 980, almost 1,000 food to get 4 more medias added. See that? Fully grown praying mantis really wasn't a problem for us, which is surprising to me. I used to have so much pride, and then his little brother, oh, you killed my brother. Right? And then, okay, I'll kill you too. No problem. I did finally catch that. That guy I didn't upgrade. Oh, look. It still needs to be upgraded. So we're just shredding out the top plant on here. And this is kind of going on for a while, so I just want to finish this plant and we'll head back into the nest and call it a game. Collect our royal jelly. I just love watching my peasant army just shred through everything. And there's so many more plants I could harvest. I've gone through and like after I've beaten the army, I've just continued harvesting just everything else on the map. Oh my god, you can make a huge army that way. But the game's over, so it's kind of like, what's the point? Do it just once or twice just to see how big you can make your army get, and then it's like, okay, all right. So after grabbing these, I have to decide, okay, this far we shall go and no further. Launching on my magnificent fleet. My magnificent cargo fleet sails up, returning back to the nest.